Before we begin, let's introduce our speaker, Prof. Eng Hwa Yap, who is the Dean of 3 schools at XJTLU, China. He received his PhD in Mechanical and Marine Engineering from University College London. He has held academic leadership positions across several institutions in Australia and Malaysia. Prof. Yap is also a chartered engineer, member of the IMechE, and fellow of the Higher Education Academy. So let's welcome him for a chat.
Hello, Prof. Yap. Thank you so much for giving us your time today and for showing your support to our channel. I feel this is going to be a valuable experience for our audience to hear from you. And we from the team of PhD Clinicus, we would like to welcome you to our channel to have a conversation with us on mobility in teaching and research in different parts of the world. So over to you, Prof. Would you want to share your experience with us while you have experience of teaching in different parts of the world? How was it for you?
I guess the experience for me is a little bit unconventional or unique, if you might say, because I think each and every time I move to a different university, the makeup, the team of people that I work with, they're all very different. For example, back in Malaysia, I used to work in an engineering department, and then in Australia, I work in 2 places. One is the multidisciplinary postgraduate school, focusing on a very specific domain, for example, energy. Then I also work in a transdisciplinary faculty. And over here, I'm tasked with building a school, an industry-themed school in collaboration, working very closely with all stakeholders, which includes our founding industry partners. So it's a bit of a flavor, a bit of everything. So yeah. Working in an environment like this and moving from one environment to the other, one key aspect that I would imagine it would be very important is respect. I think we need to be able to really not take ourselves that seriously. I think we need to have due respect for the people that we work with. I think that's very important in the academia, but I believe in every aspect too, in every domain or every field also.
So we need to open to different culture, learn to accept different things.
I think so. And not just about accepting different cultures, it's also about understanding the dynamics, understanding the makeup, understanding the needs and priorities of the institution of the country that you work in. I think that's very, very important.
How much of an open mind do you need to go with when you are going to a new country? What's your approach that, for example, you approach it with an open mind to accept what comes your way?
Very much. I think I would say an answer to that is to a large degree. I think you need to be prepared to unlearn and relearn every step of the way. So I guess that's a key determinant.
Professor, as you mentioned that you have been into so many different multidisciplinary jobs until now. So what would you suggest any early career researcher who is a little bit shy to come out of their comfort zone, doesn't want to literally try something new? What advice would you give them?
So for an early career person, I would probably start with identifying what makes you tick, what do you most believe in, and what are you most passionate about. That will be your key driver. Don't just think about job titles. Don't just think about, okay, if I go for this job, this is the kind of salary that I will get. Go with your heart, something that you strongly believe in, something that you are passionate about, and also something that will drive you for a good number of years throughout your career. I guess that's what we have to go with.
Right.
So does it take a lot of courage for you to move from one job to another and go to different country? Like, what do you consider in mind? What is in your mind?
It does take a lot of courage, and especially in taking ourselves out of the comfort zone that we are used to. I think it's very easy to want to remain within our comfort zone. I think in coming out of that, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of willpower to do so. I'm sure you would agree, right? For example, like someone like Saleh, for you to come out of your comfort zone, leaving your friends, beloved friends and family behind, to arrive in a new country to pursue your studies, it's not easy at all.
You're absolutely right, especially when you're away from your family and friends with whom you have pretty much grown up with or spent a lot of time of your life. But then I think, what do you think, Professor? I think that's the beauty of this, right? When you go out, you explore, you meet people. That's where you learn how to engage with people. That's the first the first footstep towards learning how to engage with people of different culture, races, irrespective of what race or culture. We have became like good friends with people around. So
Definitely.
I think this is like how we learn how to engage with people all around the world, right?
Yeah, I think so. I strongly agree with that. I think respect has to be at the forefront of our engagement with people. And then, and also, I think we also have to take a pinch of salt, as in, I try not to take myself too seriously.
It's okay.
It's like, I think not taking oneself seriously, it's pretty important too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always open to new things.
I think so.
Maybe just to put you in a difficult position, we'd like to ask, which country did you love teaching the most or doing research? It'll be a tough choice.
I do not have a particular preference, but if you were to really force me into a corner and make that choice, I would say and you would see this comes out a lot in my publications, in that in my study, my research revolves a lot within the context of Malaysia.
Right.
That's, I guess, where I'm interested to research in. That tells, right?
True.
Yeah.
Professor, just to come back to, let's say, research, as you mentioned, now you're stationed mainly in China, correct?
Yeah.
And for us, as, let's say, situated in Malaysia, we are very fascinated with the research output that China actually comes up with. So what would you say is the main secret behind it? Or if you want to suggest any researcher how to cope up with that speed or with the pace of, let's say, a Chinese researcher, what would you give the suggestion to our PhD students?
Well, you don't have to worry too much about the pace. I think if you're here, once you start working with your colleagues over here, you will naturally get into that pace. It's pretty, I would say it's pretty efficient over here. We get things done in a speck of a time. And once you're used to this speed, any other speed would seem quite slow.
Yeah, so I think that was the motive behind asking this question. Because you have been quite
don't
busy.
Worry about, I mean, once you're here, right? If you would like to develop your career in China, my advice is just jump in. Find anything that you can get, just jump in. In fact, you will be surprised. Well, I was certainly surprised myself. After I've arrived, I've seen a lot of foreigners who are working in China.
Right.
And before even before I arrived, I thought to myself, if people have arrived and they could get used to this, why can't I?
Yeah, true. Yeah. So moving forward with this, do you feel the PhD students or postdoctoral researchers should have this similar mindset that if the other person can, why can't I, or why shouldn't I be able to crack this?
Yeah, I think whatever that we have to undertake, it doesn't really matter if it's your PhD, it's your job. If you have that mindset, that enabling mindset, that will make a lot of difference in what you pursue. Having an enabling mindset.
Yeah. Prof, do you have any advice for the PhD students who are actually struggling now? Because now, due to the pandemics, everything is uncertain and they are struggling to know when I can finish. Do you have any final remarks for the students?
I think if there's only one bit that I would say is that these two will pass. It doesn't really matter if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or or have a horrible situation, or the state of hopelessness that a lot of us can relate to right now, is that these too will pass. Yeah, I think have faith and also believe in that in ourselves, and we will make it one day.
True. So that means you are not a firm believer that there is every student should give himself or herself the flexibility when they're doing their PhD, that it's okay to fail or it's okay to take some time and carry on the research until they get the desired output.
Oh, definitely. I think everyone should really give themselves that space, that time, if that's what they need, to figure it out, to really take it through. Because just because a person finish their PhD in 3 to 4 years doesn't mean that everyone's journey will be exactly the same, because everyone's journey will be very different. So I think don't take other people's track or the way they did it as your own, because your journey is different. Your journey is uniquely your own.
One of the real motives behind why we wanted to open this channel was to help people who might have mental health issues or struggles when they're going through their PhD journey. So any last bit of word or any last bit of motivation for them who might be watching this and seeking for some help, what would you tell them in the mental aspect?
Okay. Whatever we are feeling right now, yeah, it is okay. It's okay to not feel that you're doing something right now. It's okay to not feel that you are progressing right now. It is okay to not seem to have progressed, because these are all temporal, and these too will pass. You have to cut yourself some slack, because this whole situation is beyond our own control, and it really does not help that. I mean, that if the situation is already difficult, we still give ourselves, more pressure than we should have. So yeah, it's okay to feel like that, and just believe in that, one day you will make it.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for your time, for your valuable input.
And we feel that we have learned a lot throughout from you, because you mentioned to us that we need to be kind to ourselves first.
We really have to.
It's always a learning experience whenever, from my experience, whenever I get to talk to you. And we really thank you for your support, and especially for this support that you have provided to our audience at this point in time. I'm sure they'll be grateful too.
No problem. I think we are all in this together. I think it's important that we help one another, and it's important that we all know that we are here for one another. I think that's really important. At the end of the day, what we have is one another.
True.
You're very humble, Prof. Very humble.
I think it's nice to have to have a chance to really interact with you guys. I think that's really nice, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.
We are grateful. Take care, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.